My name is Gia Miller. I have a child at KES and another at John Jay Middle School. When you were all first elected to the board, you probably had a million questions swimming around in your head. Will I like my new colleagues? Will they actually like me? What should I wear to my first meeting? What's Andrew Selesnik really like when he's not calling my house at 5 a.m. on a snow day? And most importantly, what actually are my responsibilities? Luckily, you likely read New York State's new school board member handbook, which answered most of your questions. Tonight, I'm going to give you a bit of a refresher. I'll skip the part about getting along with your colleagues because I'm not here to give that kind of advice. And you've clearly all figured out the dress code, so let's move right on to your responsibilities. On the very first page of this handbook are the list of specific responsibilities, which include conducts performance evaluations of the superintendent to continuously set standards of improvement. A little bit later in that chapter, it states, the only employee who answers directly to the school board is the superintendent. Yet when I look at your website and the responsibilities you list in your mission statement, there is nothing that talks about setting standards for the superintendent, regular evaluations of the superintendent, or that he answers to you. In fact, I found the opposite. And as you spoke about your 2021 goals a little earlier, you once again focused on supporting the superintendent and offering him guidance. And instead of an annual review, as per New York State, the 2021 goals on your site states that you will receive an end-of-year update from the superintendent. But I didn't need tonight's discussion or the documents on your website to know that instead of viewing your role as a group that holds the person you've hired accountable, you view your role as someone who supports him. I recently had the pleasure of sitting down and meeting with two of the board members. Before the meeting, I was told that the only thing we could discuss is my child's experience and that they'd be on a listening tour and provide guidance. So I agreed, and that's what we discussed. My hope was that this meeting would generate a better understanding of some of the issues we've been speaking about at these meetings for months. In the moment, it seemed like that was the case. But afterwards, the response I received was essentially a pat on the back and an encouragement to keep up the good work, along with a sentence that explained how they fully support the superintendent and the 5 goals he's laid out. There were no new recommendations of what I could do or what this group of us could do. There was no mention or offer for us to form a committee, become part of an advisory panel or focus group, or join a forum. All of these ideas, by the way, are recommendations in that handbook about how the board can engage in the community or with the community. So let me propose something different to all of you. Sit down and talk with us. Instead of us speaking directly at you like this, and then a little later, you speaking directly at us, let's have a group discussion so you can ask us questions and hear from us personally, back and forth. I know your immediate response is going to be, but the open meeting laws. Well, I can't speak for everyone who's advocating for reform of the special ed department, but I can say that those who I've spoken with are more than happy to have our conversation open to the public. But regardless of what you choose to do, I urge you to really do something meaningful, something that is actually part of your job description. Don't just blindly trust the man you hired. Ask questions that need to be asked. The handbook describes your role as a leader of the district and an advocate of public education. But what exactly are you leading? And who are you advocating for? You're not leading all parents or advocating for all students. Don't you think you should?